to go through the lesson Packing, written by Jerome K. Jerome. The writer had two friends named George and Harish. Once all three of them decided to go on a holiday. The writer said that he would do the packing. His friends readily agreed and sat down in a relaxed mood. This was not what the writer had intended. He had only meant to be the boss and make his friends work under his directions. So he felt irritated. However, he kept quiet and began to pack. At last, he finished and strapped the bag. Harish reminded the writer to put in the boots. So he had to open the bag again to put in the boots. Then suddenly he began to doubt if he had put in his toothbrush or not. He took out everything from the bag but could not find it. He took out everything one by one. At last, he found his brush inside a boot. Now, once again, he repacked everything. Then he realized that he had packed his tobacco pouch in it. So he had to reopen the bag. Thus, the writer had to keep packing and unpacking the things till midnight. At last, at 2:50, they went to bed and decided to wake up at 6:30 in the morning. Story in detail. The writer and his two friends, George and Harish, decided to go on a holiday. The writer said that he would do the packing. He thought nobody was so good at packing as he was. He told his friends to leave the whole job to him. They readily agreed. George spread himself on an easy chair. He started smoking a pipe. Harish put his legs on the table and lit a cigar. The writer had not intended this. He had meant to boss about and make his friends do the work. He enjoyed giving directions while others worked. However, he did not say anything and started to pack. It took him long time to do the packing, but finally he was able to finish it. He then strapped the bag. Harish asked the writer whether he had put the boots in. The writer looked around. He found that he had forgotten to put the boots in. George laughed in his usual way. It irritated the writer. He opened the bag and put the boots in. Then it came to his mind whether he had packed his toothbrush or not. This was a thing which always troubled him while traveling. So he wanted to be sure whether he had put in the toothbrush or not. He took out everything from the bag. He could not find the brush in it. He found George and Harish brushes several times, but not his own. He put the things back one by one. He shook each of the things while putting them back. Then he himself the brush inside a boot. Now he had to repack the things once more. When the repacking was finished, George asked him if he had put the soap in. Now the writer was feeling very irritated. He said that he didn't care about the soap. Then he found that he had put his tobacco pouch inside the bag. So he had to reopen it. He shut it up finally at 10:05 p.m. Only the articles of food remained to be packed. Harish and George offered to do the rest of the work. The writer agreed at once. He sat down at one side. The two started in a light mood. There were piles of plates, cups, kettles, bottles, stoves, tomatoes, etc. to be packed. They started with breaking it up. Then Harish put the strawberry jam on top of the tomato. The tomato goat's quest. They had to pick out the tomato with a teaspoon. Then George put his foot on the butter. The writer kept sitting at the edge of the table and watched them. It made them more nervous. They put the pastries at the bottom and the heavy things on top. Thus the pastries got squashed. The butter got stuck to George's slipper. He got it off from there and tried to put it in the kettle. It wouldn't go in fully and what was in wouldn't come out. They managed to get it out at last. They put it on the chair. Now Harish sat on it and it stuck to him. They looked for the butter all over the room. Finally, they found it stuck to Harish's bag. They got it off and put it in the teaspoon or teapot. Now their dog Montmorency added to their confusion. He came and sat down on the things they were going to pack. Wherever the two reached out for anything, the dog would put his nose in their way. He put his leg inside the jam. He spoiled the lemons that had been put in a basket. The packing was completed by 12:15. They were all ready to give to bed. After some argument, they decided to get up at 6:30 in the morning. George was already asleep. They placed a bathtub near his bed so that he could tumble into it as soon as he got out of bed in the morning. Then both of them went to bed. There are some question answers related to this lesson. Question 1 is, how many characters are there in the narrative? Name them. Don't forget the dog. There are 3 main characters in the story. They are the author, Jerome K. Jerome, and his 2 friends, George and Harish. There is also their dog named Montmorency. Why did the narrator volunteered to do the packing. He thought that he knew more about packing than any other person. That was why he volunteered himself. How did George and Harish react to this? Did Jerome like their reaction? They agreed to it at once. They sat down comfortably and began to smoke. Jerome did not like this at all. He had not intended this at all. He had only wanted to superintend the job and keep on directing them about how to do it. What was Jerome's real intention when he offered to pack? He never wanted to do the packing himself. He only wanted to superintend the job. He had wanted that he would keep directing George and Harish about how to do it. What did Harish say after the bag was shut and strapped? Why do you think he waited till then to ask? Harish asked the narrator if he didn't want to put the boots in. He wanted to show that the narrator was no good at packing. That was why he waited till then. What horrible idea occurred to Jerome a little later. He didn't know if he had packed his toothbrush or not. The thought of forgetting it always haunted him whenever he started for a journey. Where did Jerome finally find the toothbrush? The narrator unpacked everything. He couldn't find his toothbrush anywhere. He put the things back again one by one. He held everything up and shook it. At last, he found it inside a boot. Why did Jerome have to reopen the packed bag? Jerome found that he had packed his tobacco pouch in the bag. He had to reopen the bag to have the pouch. What did George and Harish offer to pack and why? George and Harish offered to pack the hampers. It was already 10 p.m. They were to start their journey in the morning. That was why they offered to do the rest of the packing. They also wanted to show that Jerome was no good at packing. While packing the hamper, George and Harish do a number of foolish and funny things. Do you think the author packed better than George and Harish? The reasons for their answers. The author was no better than George and Harish. As far as packing was concerned, it is true that George and Harish showed their inefficiency in packing, but the author also showed his carelessness. He forgot to pack the boots, then got busy hunting for his toothbrush, and finally packed his tobacco pouch by mistake. Who was Montmorency? Montmorency was the author's dog. How did Montmorency add to the confusion of packing? Montmorency came and sat down on things just when they were wanted to be packed. Whenever Harish or George reached out for anything, which called damp nose came in their way, he put his leg into the jam, he fiddled with the teaspoons, he got into the hamper and spoiled 3 lemons. This is a humorous story. Which incident in the story did you find the most amusing? The incident regarding the butter is the most amusing. When George and Harish tried to put it in the kettle, it wouldn't go in and what was in wouldn't came out. At last, they managed to get it out. They put it